Good evening, everybody. Thank you all for coming. Thank you to the band boosters and all the work they did to put on the meal, whether it's ordering the food, decorating, doing the desserts, like all those things. There's a lot of hands and a lot of minds and a lot of hearts that went into doing that. So thank you to all of you. Could you do me a favor if you were a band parent that helped with the whole setup or any part of that out there or anything tonight, can you stand up so we can give you a hand and say yes? We're going to get started here. Some just quick announcements, especially students that are coming up on the stage tonight. If you could, when you come on the stage, come on that way. Even if you're over here and it might be shorter, make sure you come in on that way. And make sure you exit that way, even if it's not the most direct path. That'll help things kind of flow a little bit easier as we go. Yeah, that's it, right? I think we'll be ready to go. You want to do that? Or do that? Okay. Yeah, so again, thank you for being here. As you can see, we have staff here, we have students here, and parents as well, and it's just a really nice opportunity at the end of the year to get together, share a meal together, and have a great time. We're going to start with our yearly awards, so every year that you are in band, you're wearing things for your Letterman jacket and things like that. So we're going to start with those things and progress through the evening. Mr. Tabor is going to start us off with that.
All right, good evening, everybody. Procedurally, students, whenever you come up, especially for these year awards, please make sure you come up the right way, and then someone is going to present you with your award, shake your hand, and then do not go back to your seats. Come over here and stay up on stage, out of the way so that anybody can get pictures of the handshakes and yada yada. And then we're going to get one picture with everyone in the grade. Paola's going to take your picture, and then we will dismiss. You guys can go back to your seats. Okay? So the first set we have are the yearly awards, whether it's your first year or your fourth year or whatever. There are some different criteria here that we have to go over. So you get your letter for your Letterman jacket by completing 2 seasons of band, whether that is a year of concert band or that is a season of marching band. Each of those count for 1 season. So if you are a freshman and you were in marching band and concert band, you will get a letter. If you were in only one of those, then you will get your chevron, okay? So without further ado, we have 15 freshman students who are getting a letter this year. Please come on up whenever I call your names. If you would, please hold your applause until the very end, and we will give all of these outstanding young people one giant round of applause. So first up, we have Henry Callaway Miller, Natalie Barker, Katrina Britt, Dylan Geary, Charlie Land, Natalie Harris, Parker Holmes, Alice Haynes, Joshua Brody, Miles King, Finn Metzick, Katie Merrifield, Cassidy Tomlin, Aaliyah Cox, and Chloe Dorman. Next, we have our freshmen who are getting a chevron, so that is 1 season of any one of our band activities, so 1 year of jazz band, concert bands, etc. We have 20 of these students being recognized, so Abril Andrus Sandoval, Timothy Brown, Kirsten Dolphin, Sarah Griffith, Trey Paget, Jason Patterson, Alicia Peters, Braden Rice, spelled correctly on this sheet, Blake Russell, Cheyenne Spalding, Olivia Stroop Fackford, Kai Williams, Ethan Fuller, Aiden King, Dylan LeBach, Mercedes McClendon, Sean Otto, Aldrich Stone, Aiden Wayne, and Bryce Wilson. Let's give them a round of applause. Ralph Brooks, sorry, Ralph. Ralph, come on up. Ralph is actually part of a pilot program between Ralph and Alice. They are the first 2 students in our program to do jazz band as their primary ensemble. So we see Ralph first thing in the morning. He's a heck of a trumpet player. Thanks, Ralph. All right, we have 1 freshman who is in their 2nd year in our program. So 1 freshman getting a chevron this year because I believe she already has a letter. Could we please welcome to the stage Miss Sarah Proctor. All right, we are moving on to our sophomores. So this is our 2nd year sophomores getting a chevron. We have 15 of these students. Jaziel Gonzalez, Colin Crouch, Connor Kelly, Dalton Quiet, Ethan Lee, Hayden Smith, Ian Farmer, Jasmine Hecker, Jonas Newland, Kaylin Harley, Nia Arnold, Oscar Duarte Diaz, and Paula Lazaro Estrada.
We figured out that if you stand behind Jonas, you won't be in the picture. That's a strategy. All right. Our next one are juniors, so third year. There's 12 of those students getting chevrons tonight. We have Jonathan Garcia, Anela Trujillo, Brent Dixon, Levi Palacios, Brianna Simonette, Cassie Shinara, Christian Schultz, Connor Chanel, Emma Harden, and Sarah Shaw. Now we have juniors that are in their fourth year in our program, which means they participated a year early. Those would be Caleb Badger, Rose Nash, Mercy Nash, Dalton Wingler, Kyla Sanders, and Silvana Sandoval. We have a senior this year that's actually their first year in our band program because she moved into to our school, so we're grateful to have her. So our first senior to be recognized is Grace Ed. We have a senior that's been with us for 3 years. He moved in from Oregon and has been an awesome part of our band program ever since. Our third year senior member is Keegan Daly. So now we have senior 4-year members. So our 4-year members are Addie Capps, Amanda Dillard, Anna Harden, Anna Steele, Brianna Miley, David Shaw, Jaron Sullivan, Josue Vasquez Luna, Keegan Merrifield, Lona Altamarina, and Ryan Farmer. All right, we have just a few fifth-year senior members, and those two members are Christian Guest and Emma Natras. All right, and one, that this is the last time I'll ever be saying this one. We have a sixth-year senior member that obviously has been around for a long, long time. So, hey, come on up. All right, I'm going to hand it over to our color guard instructors here to do the next little bit.
All right, so we have our fall guard members. We have Addie Caps, Aaliyah Cox, Anna Steele, Christian Getz, Brenna Miley, Cassidy Tomlin, and Chloe Norman. For our guard captains, we have Brenna Miley and Anna Steele.
I think Mrs. Martinez is.
Hello everyone, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Mrs. Martinez. I teach the middle school band over at Parkview. And we piloted a program last year that Lise Mosley founded. She was a senior last year. And it is called the Junior Access to Artists Program. And just gonna talk about it super quick. Sorry, Mr. Nolan. So this is Jeffersonville High School and Parkview Middle School are both Title I schools. So that, for those of you who are not sure what that means, it means that more than half of our student population live below poverty. So creating access to band has been a huge mission in both Parkview Middle School and Jeffersonville High School. making sure that every student has access to the arts, and making sure that they are not barred from participating completely in band, regardless of where they come from, regardless of their economic status. Regardless of whether or not they come from money or not, regardless of what color they are or what religion they practice. That has been a huge goal of the band program here in Jeffersonville, is making sure that everybody can be in band. So one of the barriers to band is being able to have access to quality teachers at a private lesson or a sectional small group lesson. Jeffersonville has an Access to Artists program where they apply for grants that help fund professional musicians to come in from the Louisville Orchestra, University of Louisville, IUS, and these wonderful professors come in and work with the students here at Jeffersonville High School to make sure they have access to those private lessons that students who come from more affluent families might be able to pay for, where our students of low income status might not have access to. So hence the name, Access to Artists program. So at Parkview Middle School, we don't have quite as a robust band booster program, right? And applying for a grant situation becomes a tricky thing. So last year, Elise Hosley piloted a program. She founded a program, Junior Access to Artists, where the high school students actually are our artists that come visit the middle school once a week, depending on our rehearsal and concert schedule, both schools. And they provide free private lessons and sectionals to our students at Parkview Middle School. And that has made such a huge impact on our students. So this year we've had more students apply for our region band. We have more students getting involved with junior all-state band, more students getting involved with solo ensemble contest. And we just had a student today who was awarded a $100 scholarship to attend the Wind Band Institute over at University of Louisville. And that is 100% due to the high school students here at Jeff who come to Parkview to share all that they know and to mentor our students, and it's made such a huge impact. So I wanted to recognize these students just really quick. So our two coordinators of the program this year was Jaron Sullivan and David Shaw. They hired several staff members to work with our students. Now, hired as in they had to complete an application, they had to do all these things. Now, it was a volunteer position, so of course it wasn't paid. So Levi Palacios was also part of the program as a staff member. Josue Vasquez, Brent Dixon, Ryan Farmer, Ian Farmer, Grace Nash, Kaylin Harley, Anna Harden, Joshua Brody, Dalton Wingler. Thank you so much to Jeffersonville High School Band Program for all of this.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Martinez. And one of the things when we started this year that sorry, Mrs. Martinez, I have to do this after you talk a little bit. One of the things that we talked about in our band program this year is the idea of personal connections and working together. And with the Access to Artists program, we've extended that to the middle school, which has been wonderful. So thank you for Mrs. Martinez providing that space for that to make that happen. So can we please thank Mrs. Martinez for all that? tearing down Levi for whatever. All right. We'd like to bring up some of our other leadership from this year for some special recognition. We want to bring up our brass and woodwind captains for this year. So we would like to bring up Ryan Farmer, Anna Harden, and David Shaw. I want to give a special recognition too as he walks off the stage there. Ryan was unable to be in Wind Symphony this year because of his schedule with going to Prosser and some other things. So he's really stepped up with Mr. Tabor's woodwind class during third period. And I want to make special note of that because that doesn't always happen every year, and it has been a huge benefit to Mr. Tabor and myself. So thank you, Ryan. We'd also like to recognize our drum major from this year, Emma Netris. The next two groups, it's a wonderful problem to have, but the next two groups are so large we don't do individual names with them. The first group though, we're just going to have stand so you can be recognized. One of the amazing parts about our program that sets us apart from other bands and a lot of other music programs is the emphasis that we put on our chamber music program. So solo and ensemble and those small student-led groups in our clarinet choir, flute choir, all of those things, of which are led by, I do want to mention Mr. Akers and Mrs. Akers up here that make that happen in tons as well, along with our other Access 9 staff. So what we'd like to do is if you performed at district, solo, and ensemble at Floyd Central, can you please stand up? I'd like to give you a hand. Thank you. So this is something new, so I'd like to explain it just a little bit. So if you go in Group 1, which is the hardest division you can go in the state of Indiana, at District Solo and Ensemble, and you get a gold rating, you move on to state finals, which is at North Central High School in Indianapolis, which was a lot of construction this year, if you remember. I remember having a very large bass clarinet in my car that Grace had to meet me in the parking lot for, so that was fun. And that was quite the long journey to get all the way back there. But we used to do on our jackets, you might see some of the old ones, this is kind of a transition year for the patches and things we do for this. We used to do our own. We heard from ISMA that that's not what we're supposed to do. So we're changing our, what we're going to do with that. ISMA does their own patches and their own things. So this year, everybody who went to State Solo Ensemble this year will get a patch for their jacket that looks like this. Every single person that went this year. You will also get one that says a little rocker to go around it that says 2023 on it. In consecutive years, this comes your first time. In consecutive years, if you've already been, you'll get a rocker to go around it that says 24 or 25 as you go, which is a little bit different than the ones that we've done before. And these are actually available at State Solo Ensemble and in different places as well. So just a small change in what that looks like, and I kind of want to show people what that is. And to make sure, so we're not going to list everybody's name. So when you do come up, if you did State Solo and Ensemble this year and you made it to state finals, make sure this year everybody grabs one of both as they come up. And then as you come up, make sure you get in and we'll all take a big picture together. So if you qualified and performed at State Solo and Ensemble this year, go ahead and come on up. Congratulations. All right, the next group we'd like to recognize, and this is just a please stand, we'd like to recognize this. As an additional option, other than just concert band in our school, you can also do jazz band as well. And we want to recognize those members of the jazz band in the group this year. So if you were in jazz band, can you stand up so you can be recognized? Thank you, guys. Okay, the next thing, actually I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Tabor because the next thing is his. Mr. Tabor does an awesome job with a lot of In the collegiate model, what we would call like athletic bands, things that play around school and things like that. So I'm going to hand it over to him for the pep bands.
So when it comes to describing pep band, I think Mrs. Akers has one of the best descriptions I've ever heard as far as pep band. Where else, parents, can you send your kid for 3 hours of screaming at the top of their lungs, playing loud and out of tune, and painting their face, and yelling at referees, and so on and so forth, and it'd be contributing to school culture? Very strange, right? Pep band's been a blast. This is actually a lot of fun, and throughout the basketball season, we have 22 students in our pep band that have had perfect attendance this year. Pep band is no longer required for a grade, so these guys signed up for pep band and then had a small fee to pay. They got some nice swag out of it as well. And then these 22 students did not miss a pep band game all season. So let us recognize these guys: Caleb Badger, Ollie Crouch, Amanda Dillard, Keegan Daly, Ryan Farmer, Dylan Geary, Alice Haynes, Jasmine Hecker, Parker Holmes, Connor Kelly, Ethan Lee, Katie and Keegan Merrifield, Henry Miller, Braden Rice, Sarah Sharp, David Shaw, Hayden Smith, Cheyenne Spalding, Jaron Sullivan, Josue Vasquez Luna, and Dalton Winkler. I should mention they get a different and additional chevron as well, so some other stuff to go on the Letterman jacket.
I just now got that Keegan's bow tie has trumpets on it, so highly appreciate it. All right, we would like to recognize a few groups that, just like pep band, that kind of go the extra mile, but then on top of that, have been selected beyond our high school for some different things. In Indiana, we have a wonderful organization named Indiana Bandmasters Association, which is separate than ISMA and separate than IBA. We call it alphabet soup here in Indiana. But there's some different levels. We have an all-region band, which is for 7th through 9th graders, so our freshmen qualify for that as well, and it's an honor band that they're selected for. We also have an all-district band, which is for 9th through 12th graders that students get selected for. We actually host the all-district band here at Jeffersonville High School, and I've had some wonderful guest conductors over the year. But on each of those sites, there's usually maybe 20, 25 schools or so eligible that can send to kids. And we always have, those bands are typically 60, 70, I think the all-region band is sometimes around 80 or so, and our band here that we host all districts is around in the 70s. So the fact that in all-region this year we had 8 members, and in all-district this year we had 20 members, that's a really an awesome thing, and an accomplishment for those students, because it says a lot about their hard work. So we're going to bring up the IBA All-Region band members. We're going to do those first. There's 8 of those. Those are, go ahead and come on up, Aiden Wayne, Henry Callaway Miller, Mercedes McClendon, Parker Holmes, Sarah Proctor, Cheyenne Spaulding, and Trey Paget. And then for our all-district band members, there's 20 of those. Go ahead and come on up. Josue Vasquez Luna, Emma Natras, Amanda Dillard, Dalton Clyde, Ian Farmer, Anna Harding, Ryan Farmer, Kaylin Harley, Christian Schultz, Grace Nash, Jaron Sullivan, Connor Sano, Caleb Badger, Jonas Newland, Ethan Lee, David Shaw, Joshua Brody, Nate Edwards, and Emma Hart. All right, another honor band that we returned to doing this year that we hadn't done since, well, we now call it the 4 times, right? And it was a really exciting weekend to do this, and we haven't had kids at the University of Louisville honor band for a long, long time. It was a wonderful experience, and I was really excited they got to do that. And it was also a chance, actually, for one of them to audition for the U of L School of Music as well. So our 4 University of Louisville honor band students are Nella Trujillo, Alice Haynes, David Shaw, and Jaron Sullivan. Out of all those honor bands, there's only one band, though, that actually goes through a taped and recorded audition process. It's actually a blind audition process. So students go and they record an audition at Floyd Central High School, but it's to just goes on a thumb drive somewhere or an audio thing, and they actually end up being like trumpet number 12 or clarinet number 82, and a blind listener, usually a college professor, will rank them all in order, and then the people doing the auditions put names and schools back on with those audition process. So the fact that it's a blind audition process really kind of mirrors what professionals do when they go out and do orchestral auditions and things like that. So it's a really big honor to make All-State Band in Indiana. This year we had a very special student make All-State Band, and she got to go this year. We have a list of All-State students going all the way back to the first All-State Band in 1964, and she now gets to be on that list. That's Grace Nash. Bring the color guard snap back up.
Hello everyone. We just want to take a second and recognize our Winter Guard program. So this year we started with 20. We did unfortunately lose one throughout the season, but these kids have given us a home to build for them, and I just love being a part of this program. So we're just going to recognize them real quick, and then we're going to recognize our seniors. Okay.
All right, we have Abigail Bolin, Addie Capps, Aaliyah Cox, Anna Steele, Avery Capps, Brianna Bobo, Riley Flyatt, Brenna Miley, Cassidy Tomlin, Cassie Shunara, Chloe Dorman, Christian Guest, Gracelyn Lynn, Maddie Stoltz, Mariana Bush, Oliver Durbin, Silvana Sandolva, Tessa Lawrence, and Taylor Rothbauer.
Graduation certificates today. So, Brittany's going to announce them.
We have Christian Guest, Brenna Miley, Anna Steele, and Addie Capps.
We'd also like to recognize our winter percussion program. Mr. Lanius, who usually comes, is not able to be here tonight because he's actually on tour with the local orchestra. They're doing a tour this week of all different parts of Kentucky and playing in all different locations. So I know he wished that he would be here. In his place, Mr. Taylor will be handing out the winter percussion. So, our winter percussion ensemble members are Brent Dixon, Colin Crouch, Dalton Clyde, Dalton Wingwood, David Shaw, Emma Harden, Hayden Smith, Jaron Sullivan, Josue Vasquez-Medina, Kaylin Harley, Katie Merrifield, Keegan Merrifield, Levi Palacios, Miles King, Nate Edwards, and Cheyenne Spaulding. And the very last group we want to recognize is there's two groups of students who do some extra things, not even outside of our band program. There's two youth orchestras in our area. One is the Floyd County Youth Orchestra, which we've had students do for many years. We also have a member this year of the Louisville Youth Orchestra. This is the first time, at least since I've been here, that we've had a member as a part of that. So I'm going to bring both those groups up at the same time. So the Louisville Youth Orchestra, both these groups, by the way, rehearse independently of any particular band or orchestra program, but it's a really neat experience because there's a lot of concert literature and things that orchestral students get to play that high school band students don't get to play, which is really neat. So in the Louisville Youth Orchestra this year, as our first member, Jaron Sullivan of the Louisville Youth Orchestra this year. In the Floyd County Youth Symphony, we have Anela Trujillo, Emma Natras, and Sarah Sharp. I just want to take a minute. Obviously, there's a lot of students we've recognized throughout the evening with a lot of major accomplishments, whether they're on paper or being part of an honor band or whatever it is throughout the year. But if you were at our spring concert, if you were at spring contest, one of the big memories for me this year is I can't remember a year where our spring ISMA contest, our spring concert, meant so much and was such a peak of our year. Students did a fantastic job this year. From day one, if you remember them, well, I know Mr. Tabor and I remember them one day. They sounded like the first day of school when we were doing pride slides, right? You remember those that we did? And then we have the Fall Pops concert, the Winter Fantasy concert, solo and ensemble. We go through all those different seasons, and to hear what they're doing now and where they started on that first day and the journey that they've taken as musicians has been wonderful. And we're very, very proud of that, but also as people. We've had so many moments this year of personal growth. You know, obviously within any school year, there's moments of hardship and moments of triumph and moments of I don't think I'm ever going to get this part, and moments of I finally did it and all those things. But then also to see we get to witness whether it's 7 o'clock in the morning and it's people coming in that are friends, every morning, or whether it's us trying to. We kind of joke about this, but it's actually one of our favorite things to do. That we actually have to kick students out. We go like, you have to go home because we have to go home and we can't, go. And what a wonderful problem to have. which because that means that band is a safe place for them. They enjoy being together, and it's a home for all of us. So that's been a huge highlight of the year as well. Just seeing students be able to come together, develop those friendships along the way, and make those personal connections has been amazing. So I just want to take a minute to thank students. You guys have done a lot of hard work. Nobody up here has performed a single note or performed a single flag toss or anything. It's all the work that you guys are doing. So thank you to all of our students. Speaking of thank yous, I'm trying to figure out where he is. Sean, where are you at? Sean Smith, where are you at? Oh, go ahead and come on up. Go ahead and come on up. We have some very special parents that take a lot of time to make happen what happens in our band program. And I know they have a few things to say and a few thank yous to do as well, which I'll let them kind of speak for themselves here.
All right, Booster Board parents, come on up. Andrew Kelly, Karen, where are you? All right, Karen, shake your head. I'm not going to fight you for it. On behalf of the boosters, we want to thank you, students, for letting us be part of your success. Thank you. We have a special presentation tonight. Les, come on up. So we have a special presentation for Les, and we're going to miss Les. This is his last year with us because his son is graduating. We're going to try to get him to come back as much as possible. But he's actually very near and dear to me. My wife and I, our first year here with the band was last year, and Les made us feel so at home. I know that if you're a new parent, sometimes it can be difficult to get into this group and figure out where you fit in and how to get in and help. But we actually got started helping and volunteering with the band by pushing doors with the marching band last year. It was Les that kind of guided us around and told us what to do and where to go and helped us not be complete lunatics. So we're going to share a few stories, and then we're going to give Les a little presentation here.
So there are really big shoes to fill, but I just wanted to take a few moments to share some fun memories and all the things that Les has done during his time. I also met Les one of the first times I volunteered as an incoming freshman parent at the flower sale. So you get to know a lot of people. And I remember that day he told me, he said, you can do as much or as little as you want. And little did I know that Les does it all. So there's not a single competition or activity where you're not going to find his smile, and his heart is so big he'll go above and beyond. And that was true even needing to do anything, whether it be rain or shine. I know we were needing to clean out the band trailer this year to get ready for winter percussion season, and I had Colin with me, and he's like, I don't know if I have time to do that. And I said, well, Les is cleaning that out. He goes, well, if it's for Les, I'm certainly going to go help. So in the rain, we unloaded the trailer. And then one of my other favorite memories is during winter percussion, we had all the snacks out, and we were talking about how we had to go get all the supplies to get ready for the band competition, for the winter percussion competition the next day. And I was just like, I was in the store, and I kept getting all these things, and how do all the students love this and that. So I picked the stuff back I was going to get so I could get more stuff for the students. So your kids were in great hands. We are deeply going to miss all of his work and dedication and his smiling face whenever behind the scenes with the parents. But I do encourage you to participate with us, and certainly want to give you a sincere thank you for all that you've done for not only the band board, but for all the students sitting out there as well.
Ditto to all that. There are so many instances, I could go over and over and over about all the instances where Les has just shown up and gone above and beyond and above and beyond. But one story that I always remember that's kind of funny, that show that you were talking about with the doors and we were doing a haunted house thing, I will always remember. We just had this, and this is a good example of what he does, right? We're just having a conversation about, oh, you know, it's supposed to be, you know, we have these doors donated, and we're like, oh, they kind of look nice, but they're actually supposed to kind of look older, you know, it's just kind of, and so Les found, I don't know where he found, whether it was chains or something from the trailer, and we're out at band rehearsal, and Les is back there, and it's just like, what? Like, it's like whacking the door with these chains to get like, you know, make them look distressed and all that, and students coming up and going, Mr. Miller, is Mr. Sullivan okay? And he's just back there, you know, going that extra mile for maybe like 1 or 2 on-field judges during the year to see like, oh, that kind of fits the show a little bit better. So that level of detail, that level of care, I will always remember that among many other things. So thank you, Mr. Sullivan.
Les, on behalf of the band, thank you very much, and you'll be missed.
Thank you again, Les. Absolutely. And actually, I just remember this as they were taking the picture. In continuing with that train of thought, anybody that would like to clean out the really old trailer, he could use some help this Saturday, starting early in the morning. So another just example there, above and beyond. So anyway, so we have some really special student awards to do. We always save these for the end of our band banquet. Means a lot to do these every year because as a band director here at Jeffersonville, I think we're on, Mrs. Martinez, are we 93 or 94 at this point? 93? It's either 93 or 94. Yeah, okay, all right. But you know, being a band director in the history of that tradition here at Jeffersonville High School is a huge honor and responsibility as well. And so a lot of these awards that we give out every year are a part of that tradition and have been a part of that tradition for a very, very long time. The first one we're going to do is the Eugene Davis Scholarship. Eugene Davis was actually a band director here. And we have, if you ever want to take the time or let us know, we have a whole stack of black and white photos and really awesome things in our band library that has pictures of Mr. Davis along with a lot of our other band directors and the things that we've been a part of throughout the years. So this scholarship is named after him, and it comes from, it's a $500 scholarship. It comes from the band boosters. And students that apply for it, it's meant for students that are going on in doing something with music, maybe not just necessarily as a music major, but whether they're playing in college band or things like that. Is it for students that are going on to college and continuing their music career in that way? And part of the criteria that was set out as part of that way before my time here at Jeffersonville High School has to do with dedication to the program, high academics. There's lots of criteria that you have to meet. You've got to get recommendation letters before you turn in your application and everything. So this year's recipient is definitely deserving on the, in particular on the dedication aspect of what this scholarship means to our history and what it means to, I'm sure, being named after former band directors. So this year's Eugene Davis $500 scholarship goes to Jan Sullivan. So the next few awards, it's really special to have some awards specific to our school, but it's also very neat to do some national awards. So these are awards that at each high school, you're only allowed to have one of each. So there's some standards there, and these are things that if you go to other band programs, not only in the state of Indiana, but all around the country, you'll see them doing these same awards. The first one is the Louis Armstrong Jazz Award. And this year's recipient, we have done so much this year in so many things, and sometimes we forget day to day the work that the students are putting in. We kind of get used to it in rehearsal and go, okay, now let's do this, let's do this, let's do this, and you forget all the hard work it took to do what they do. And some of our students even take on additional instruments, and they're playing them just as if that was their main instrument. So this year's recipient has definitely done that and more. And without him, I don't think we would have no harmonic accompaniment within the rhythm section. So this year's Louis Armstrong Jazz Award goes to Josue Vasquez. Being a flute player in Mrs. Akers' studio, it's not often, Mrs. Akers, you get a flute / bass player, right? That's pretty cool. All right. The next award we have is the Patrick Gilmore Award. Gilmore was a very big march composer in the band tradition, and goes back a long, long way back to the military bands like the Sousa Band and things like that. But Gilmore was just as famous and just as popular. We don't really think of it now, but bands coming to your town during the summer and playing in the bandstand, like the Gilmore Band or the Sousa Band and things like that, that was like the rock concert of the day. You would go out and make a day of it, and it was a really good thing. The Gilmore Award really is for a student who displays above and beyond what a normal, just, hey, I'm going through band class kind of student would do. But we have a lot of students that do that already. But in particular, the Gilmore Award, a lot of times students do things that don't go noticed, do things for other people that aren't necessarily just how well they play their instrument, but where their mind is when it comes to helping others and helping others have what they need to be successful. And I can't think of somebody that does that fits that bill better. We kind of mentioned already a little bit earlier about how much service he's given to Mr. Tabor and his woodwind group. So this year's Patrick Gilmore Award goes to Ryan Farmer. tonight is the John Philip Sousa Award. You may have recognized Sousa's name from our Wind Symphony played a Sousa March this year. He is the Beethoven or Mozart of the band world when it comes to the importance of the place that he holds. John Philip Sousa was the leader of the Marine Band, so anytime you see at inaugurations or on TV or the 4th of July celebration in DC and the Marine Band is playing, the arrangements that they're playing and the music that they're playing in large part is Sousa's music. And they're still playing off those same parts and off those same things. So very legendary band director in his own right. And the Sousa Award, again, there's only one per school in the country. There's actually a national register that when you win this award, you can go in and register your name. And it's really interesting. You'd be surprised at the amount of Sousa Award winners that go on to be band directors or doctors or do all these amazing things. You'd be surprised about the amazing amount of very famous, successful people in the world that were either in band but then also were a Sousa Award winner. So it's a pretty special award that's been going on for a very, very long time. Not only service to the band and the band program and the students in the band, but also a Sousa Award member has to display a very, very high level of musicianship, hard work, and dedication to the craft of music in addition to the people and everything around it. So very well deserved John Philip Sousa Award winner this year. This year's award goes to David Shaw. And then one last group to pull up, of course. So this year's senior class, I've said this a lot in class, but man, what a responsibility. I think if you look back, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now, well, you guys have had an interesting high school experience. But that probably no other group of high schoolers are going to share that same experience, or at least I hope not, with what you guys have been through your freshman, sophomore, junior years as you go through. But what's amazing, I think when we look back, is we're going to say this senior class, this year's band, but in particular this senior class, they're the group that kept band going, which cannot be overestimated, cannot be overstated. There are so many people right now within this group's senior class that maybe aren't attending high school anymore and have been through a lot of really rough things. And this senior class has stuck it out, and not only stuck it out, but taken the opportunity to improve, to keep going. And what's remarkable about this senior class is their foot is still on the pedal. They are still every day in class, even as like right now in school, some of our other classes, and our AP test is done, so the rest of the year we're doing this, and it's not much anymore. Maybe final grades are almost done, and we're collecting Chromebooks. And just today, we're like learning tunes to play graduation. We still have people volunteering to show up for stuff and help out with things that they don't have to. Like we had our first marching band rehearsal on Tuesday that the seniors had nothing to do with, and there were 2-3 of them at least there. So the fact that they are still going and going strong, and it is May, and there are, was it 5 days of school left or something like that, is really, really amazing. And not every senior class does that, and that says a lot about their character. So I'm going to bring up the senior class. So come on up, guys. We have Grace Abbott, Paloma Altamira, Adam Capps, Keegan Daly, Amanda Dillard, Nate Edwards, Ryan Farmer, Christian Guest, Anna Harden, Grace Lynn, Keegan Merrifield, Brenda Miley, Emma Natras, David Shaw, Anna Steele, Madison Stoltz, Jerry Sullivan, and Jose Vasquez.
Good job, class of 23.
I already talked a little bit about you, but I want to thank you guys because it really does mean a lot to us. It means a lot to everybody sitting out here. For the work that you guys done, we're super proud of you. Super proud of you. If I didn't get to your thing out there yet, I've got to like half of them. Come in, band class, let me sign it for you because I want to get to everybody's. Thank you so much for the work that you've done. Congratulations, guys. Appreciate it. And thank you everyone for coming tonight. Thank you for sharing a meal with us. Thank you for sharing this time together. Have a wonderful evening. Be safe going home. Thank you.